What is a clasp? Well, a clasp is basically a component that attaches each side of your bracelet or your necklace, whatever you're stringing, whatever you're beading, whatever you're putting together, it connects it. It's what we usually, and again, customarily, and in my opinion, consider to be like our final finishing. So a clasp would be like your final finishing of your jewelry. But wait a minute, let's not just say it's a finishing, because there are more applications. There are many more applications to a particularly specialty clasps that you can incorporate in the design. You can use them as links. You can use them to add dangles. You can put them in the front of your jewelry. You can put them in the side. Really, it's just the world is your oyster. That's why talking about these are so much fun, because it's just there's no rules, right? So for going back to the purpose of what we're talking about in terms of 101 basics today, let me pick up this guy here. So this is a square toggle, okay? And so all clasps have a soldered hole on them, whatever kind it is. But again, this is a toggle. It has two sections, right? So it has the bar part and then the decorative part or the shape part of it. And you would be putting one on each side, and then you would be connecting it, and that would be connecting and finishing off your jewelry, right? So that's the basic 101 idea behind a clasp. In the finding, so that you know, 99% of the time when you're purchasing your clasps and you're purchasing online, even if you're in the store, the packaging or the description in the item online, it will typically say, if it's lead free or nickel free, or if it's brass, gold, plated or silver plated or antique copper, it'll say what it is. So it's not like you have to wonder. They're usually pretty straightforward when you are selecting your findings. The line here. So I just wanted to pull out some examples and show you guys the various amount of shape, sizes, and colors. So this is really cool toggle, right? So these are toggles. This is in gold, but it's like hammered. It's pretty large in size, and it's a heart shape. This is also a toggle, and it's a triangle, and it has a little bit of decorative embossing there. So there's a triangle. This one is kind of like a picture frame, right? And so this, by the way, is what we call the bar part of the toggle. And so there's like a picture frame, and that's just gold plated. And then let's move over here. I've got this one in silver, and this is a square, and it's got cool like stamping in it on the bar as well. And so there's like a square silver toggle. And then we've got, this is a gold, and this is like a diamond cut. And it says you can obviously see a crown. I just have a jump ring holding my toggle to it. But this is really cool. And when you get into really cool toggles and clasps that are really decorative, they can truly become part of your design. And that's what I love. And that's why I have such a selection. I have way more than this. But this gives you a nice insight. This would truly become part of the design. It's a really beautiful diamond shape. There's a lot of detail in this clasp, and of course the crown, so that could really become part of your design. So there's a crown. And then we're in the round family of toggles, and this is what we just call a standard rope toggle. And just obviously it looks like a rope, and this is in silver plated. And then here's a larger round toggle, and it is in copper. And as you can see, a very significant in size, very nice long bar part of the toggle. And then let's move over here to, we're getting into our specialty ones now. So then here's another one that's a heart. And what's really cute about this one, as you can see, like even the bar has a little flower embossing on it. It's a heart shape, but it has little flowers. It's very decorative and very much can become part of your design. You could put this in the front of your necklace or bracelet, whatever you're putting together, because it's very decorative. So this one is really pretty. I've got quite a few of these, so I love these clasps. So those are a bunch of types of toggles. I do have a couple more, but now we're getting into lobster. So this is a lobster. Some people call them lobster claw. So that would be a lobster clasp. It's pretty significant in size. It's silver in color. And then, of course, as you can see, the lobster just springs by this little lever over here. And it has a hole soldered on the bottom. Okay, so that's a lobster. And then we have magnetic. Magnetic clasps are really cool. I pulled out 4, and as you can see, they're all kind of held to each other because they're magnetic. So I have 4 here. I've got something in, this is antique copper. This is gold. This is rose gold. And then, of course, silver. Okay? And what's really cool, let me pull the gold up here, and I have to get my pliers. What's really cool about magnetic clasps, I love them for bracelets, even anklets, necklaces, really whatever, but I really use them a lot for bracelets because they are so easy and hassle-free. To open and close these is absolutely easy, hassle-free, no muss, no fuss, super duper simple, Simon. People love these, and I love using these on bracelets because sometimes people don't want to finagle with the clasp, on the bracelet. So magnetic is a great option, and I'll pull that apart and show you. Get that way up close there for you. So as you can see, there's a magnet on the inside of that clasp. And so, they're very, very cool. Very cool to have magnetic clasps in your stash. So there's some magnetic clasp options. And then let's get over here into some specialty. So this is, again, in the toggle family. So a toggle clasp, but it's more specialty. As you can see, it's very significant in size. Probably about a 28 to 30 millimeter. The hole to connect it is here in the back, and then same on the bar part of the toggle, and then it has the little leaf as well. That is absolutely gorgeous, and that was most certainly become part of my design. I would easily use this as either a side connector to actually connect the necklace. I could use this for, or put it in the front. Could have certainly put it in the back. But this is so beautiful that I could absolutely incorporate that into my actual design. So that's a beautiful example of a specialty clasp. And then over here, another example I have is an antique copper, and it is what we call a triple strand toggle. And they have these that have 2, you see these 1, 2, 3 little loops that are soldered on here? On both the round part and the bar part of the toggle. They have them that come in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops. And these are awesome. So you can use these to make multi-strand projects, but you can also use something like this for your dangles. You could actually, let me put that down. You could use this, like let's say our necklace would be back here. You could connect this directly into your wire, and then use some dangles with head pins down here. You could put this in the center of your necklace and use this as a focal. And then, do some decorative design and, hang chain or a bunch of dangles or do some wire wrapping. So what's really cool about these double and triple strand and 4, 5, 6 strand toggles is that you can use them way past, an actual clasp. They have many more applications. So that's an example of that. Another really beautiful specialty clasp in the toggle family is this beautiful heart. I will be most certainly using this in the coming up weeks here with Valentine's on the horizon. Beautiful decorative specialty clasp, as you can see. Very, very beautiful rope on the decoration, and nice significant hole on the bar part. And then our necklace, our bracelet, whatever we're doing, would connect here. And then this could be beautifully hanging off the back of the neck. You could also easily make this a part of the front of your project, and it's held together with a bail here. So this is another beautiful example of like a specialty clasp that truly can become part of your design. And we've got some little rhinestones in the heart there. That's really pretty. And then we have what we call, you buy them like this and they have chain extender on them. So this is a really cool, again, can become part of your design. It's very decorative. I've got these in gold and silver. And so basically, this is one side and this is the other side. And as you can see in the center, it is a lobster clasp, much smaller one, on one side and a jump ring on the other. So this would be connected on one side and this would be on the other side. And then you would connect it this way. So you would connect your necklace or bracelet, whatever project you're making here. Then you have this as an extender. This also could hang in the back of the neck, be very beautiful, very decorative. You could also make something like that. And then on this side, we have just the jump ring, the duplication on the other side. But then on this side, we have a true, what we call chain extender with a darling little leaf. And so that can hang pretty much like this, you know, in the back of the neck or even in the front and become truly part of your design and very decorative. So these are kind of cool as well. And I believe I got these from Joann's, by the way, on their 70% off clearance. I have them in gold and silver. They only had a few left. And so I grabbed these, maybe because we're getting into some Mother's Day and Valentine's and Easter coming up. I might put something really cool together with that. My last clasp I have, friends, to show you before I'm going to actually show you some finished examples, this is another thing that is really in another department, in the craft department, right? Like you would use these for like a lanyard or a keychain or a purse dangle or a bookmark or whatever, right? But we can pull these over into the jewelry application as well. Which I actually do. I make, you know, I've got a playlist with some examples using these of making some purse dangles and bookmarks I put up last month. These also have the Lobster application, and then it is on a clasp that swivels. So really, really cool. These come, I probably have 10, 15 metal finished colors on these, and you can use these, like I said, for a various amount of really cool projects that you can use in the application of jewelry and beading and our jewelry techniques that we use to make purse dangles or, you know, bag dangles, zipper pulls, lanyards, bookmarks, keychains. It just goes on and on. So this is kind of a cool little clasp, and that one is in rose gold. Here, I just want to show you that, you know, it's so straightforward and simple, but just so that I make sure that I cover everything, I'll grab any one of these. You can attach your toggles or any clasp. So there's a toggle. We just basically feed it right on this jump ring. Okay, here's the lobster. We would just feed it right on our jump ring. But, and we can do that with even the triple strand. You know, we can use a different jump ring on each strand, right? On pretty much all of them, because they all have a soldered hole in order to connect. But what is also important to note about any clasp, period, even the little magnetics, is that you can truly connect these either using a jump ring. You could use a wire guardian. You could use wire wrapping. You could also put this directly on your wire. Okay? You do not have to have anything else to connect this to your project. You can connect it directly to your project on the wire if you want to. You don't have to have a jump ring. You don't have to, you know, make a loop on a head pin or, you know, wire wrap or a wire guardian. You can connect that directly using to your wire as well, using nothing else. But it is most common. I will note most people, most of the time, again, commonly will put a jump ring on. But, you know, I'm not common. I don't do it all the time. I really do what I feel like. And that's what I said. Again, let's reiterate that, you guys, there are no rules. So that gives you a nice overview and deep dive into clasps and